Hey guys, Trevor Chikuti here from Spinewise, coming to life today. I just wanted to have a quick chat to you about setting up your desk if you're having wrist problems. So we've talked about desk setup a little bit, but I want to get a little bit more specific now that we've been talking this month about wrist issues, carpal tunnel syndrome. We've touched on how, if you're getting numbness or tingling or anything like that in these three fingers, so these are your thumb side, so two fingers and your thumb, this is more likely to be a median nerve from your carpal tunnel. And if you're getting it down the outer side through here, it's less likely to be carpal tunnel syndrome and more tunnel-Guyon syndrome, which is really an ulnar nerve problem, which doesn't get helped by carpal tunnel procedures generally. So I want to talk to you about exactly how these things manifest when it comes to your desk and your workstation. So here at my desk today in my back office, I just want to show you some really simple key things that we see on a regular basis that affect your elbows, your wrist extensors, your forearms, and also your hands when it comes to setting your desk up. So I'm not going to talk to you about height of desk and chair height and all that kind of stuff. If you want to see that stuff, go back. I did a video on that about 6 or 8 weeks ago. It'll be on our in our collected videos there. But I want to talk to you more about specifically in regards to your hands and your wrists. So if we look at, I'm going to move my chair up a little bit here. If we look at desk setup to begin with, we want to look at how our hands are actually positioned in relation to the computer keyboard itself. The main thing we want to talk about with this is exactly where your wrists lie. So if my hands sit below the keyboard like you see here and I type away in this manner, there's a couple of things that I need to do. So the first one is I need to extend my wrist back in order to get the keyboard up. So I'll just rotate the keyboard slightly there so you can see how my hands need to be extended through here. That extension creates traction at the front of the wrist, which can effectively irritate the median and the ulnar nerves. We tend to see this one more with carpal tunnel, so the median nerve, but it can affect both. The other aspect of it, which is even more common than that, is when you're in this extended position, there's tension on the wrist side of the anterior side of your hand. That naturally causes the fingers to want to curl. So when you've got your hands this way, your fingers naturally want to curl, which means you want to press the keys. So the way to get around that then is you hold your fingers up. And you can see, just by doing that, you can see how the tendons get exposed on my hands themselves. And this is really the contraction that's constantly occurring. Now the muscle that attaches to these tendons is all the way up here. So when I'm constantly doing this, I'm constantly contracting these muscles here, and that'll start running the risk of generating issues with the elbow, so tennis elbow, and also your wrist extensors as well. Really, really common reason we see people start developing that wrist extensor pain or forearm pain. The other thing that we want to look at now is the computer mouse. So when we have our computer mouse down like that, again, generally what ends up happening is we have it on the desk itself and we move the mouse like this. And once again, you can see the same thing that we saw on the keyboard. So the wrist is in that extension position, which is creating traction over those nerves themselves. And then at the same time, the flexion aspect that the wrist wants to go into causes you to push down on the sensitive mouse buttons. The result of that again is we constantly sit there with our fingers up in this manner, and by keeping our fingers up in that manner, again we run the risk of creating wrist extensor problems. Interestingly though, with the keyboard we tend to see more median nerve problems and wrist extensor problems. With the mouse, I think it's more to do with the angle that we tend to sit on. We tend to sort of rotate a little bit so we can get our first finger on top, and this tends to create more ulnar nerve problems in people. So the inner aspect of the arm itself that we see here. So what do we do to stop this? Because this is going to shock you. This is such an easy thing to stop. All you need to do to get this out of your risk category for the future, and if you're already suffering with wrist problems, potentially even stop it from being a problem, is to simply elevate your wrist higher than the keyboard. So you can see when my hands are here, you can see the contraction, and you can even see I'm shaking a little bit from the contraction there, trying to keep my hand up. As soon as I lift that wrist up though, can you see how it just all relaxes? Everything relaxes. And the main reason for that is that the wrist is now in a neutral position. So that's really what we want. We want our wrists in a neutral position when we're looking at this. And it's very easily achieved. All you need, if you don't have anything else, is grab yourself a book, stick the book in front of your keyboard, and now when you rest your hands down, you're bang on level. It's that simple. Same thing with the mouse. Book down, hand on top, and you can now use the mouse without an issue in any way, shape or form. Wrist is straight, no contraction through the wrist extensors. Wrist extensors calm here. No pressure on your pisiform through that area there, or ulnar nerve. And in this position, again, no pressure in any way, shape or form. So if you don't want to spend money, just grab yourself a book of some sort. This is probably a little bit too thick for my wrists, but something around the average size of your standard novel, about an inch or thereabouts, will be enough just to get your wrists up and stop that from happening. Otherwise, you can get great little gel pads now, or other forms of pads that you can put in front of the keyboard, which will do that. You can even get mouse pads like this one here, I'm not sure if we can see that with the light, which have them built in at the front. So we can put a mouse on top of them, and then we can use that as a little bit of elevation to again just take the contraction out of the hands and hopefully save your wrists. Anyway guys, if you have any questions with that, if you want to know anything more about it, just post them up, or I'll be online for right now for about another 10-15 seconds, so if you post them up right now I might be able to get to them before I jump off the air. But keep your wrists up above, it'll protect you and help prevent you from developing wrist and hand issues. And likewise, if you're having issues already, we often find that even that simple action itself can sometimes mitigate the issues and allow people to regain the use of their hands without a drama. Anyway guys, hope you have a fantastic remainder of the month. Christmas is getting really close now, and if I don't speak to you beforehand, have a very Merry Christmas, an amazing and safe New Year, and let's make 2021 an even better year than 2020 ever could have been. Anyway guys, so I'll speak to you in the next vid. See you guys, bye for now.